Welcome to Women and Resistance, a powerful podcast where we honor the courage, resilience, and revolutionary spirits of women across the globe. Hosted by Fubara Eneli Esquire and Adesoji Iginla, we uncover untold stories of defiance against systemic oppression, whether colonialism, racism, sexism, or economic injustice. From historic icons like Winnie Mandela and Fannie Lou Hamer to today's trailblazers, we shine a light upon those shaping a more just world. This is a call to honor the past, embrace the present, and build an empowered future. Yes, greetings, and welcome to a very special episode of Women and Resistance. As you can see, I am joined by two lovely queens, and it is what Women and Resistance is all about, the presence, the voicing of women. I am Adesoji Iginla, and with me, as usual, is my host who is out of character today, Fubara Eneli Esquire. And we also have a friend of the show, Peggy Parks Miller. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening. Great to be here today. And welcome. I say, Mama Peggy, welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
So
it's wonderful. Thank you for the invitation.
It's a pleasure. So, yes, Women and Resistance started a year ago today. It started from a conversation Sister Aya and I had, where she was talking about the idea of her chronicling the lives of, very resilient women. And so, as usual, I just said, well, why not start a weekly event where you showcase each of these women? Obviously, she heard it the first time. She pretended as if she didn't hear, which is normal from her when she's trying to avoid taking action. But I persisted, and here we are today. And first things first. Yes, Aya and I know what it was, but let's hear from Mama Peggy, who has been here from the start. You've heard from show one. What was your initial take about what you were hearing, seeing, and experiencing?
My initial take was amazement, especially with Aya's ability to channel these ancestors. She was able to not only give the information, but I mean, it was as if I'm looking at Nina. I'm looking at Billie Holiday. I'm looking, I'm hearing all of these wonderful women, Claudia Jones, speak directly to me. It's phenomenal. I mean, seriously, I am not trying to be, exaggerate. I'm not trying to exaggerate. She is phenomenal in that they come alive right now, today, and speak to us. And she calls my girls, my women, my sisters, my daughters, and makes it so personal. So it's just a wonderful. I always try to like and share with other people so that they could be brought into the circle, because it's really, really history coming alive. Well, if I could jump in here, first of all, Mama Peggy, you are gorgeous. Thank you. I see why they hate on us. I mean, your skin, everything,
it's glowing,
like you You are just, yes. And please, people in the chat, go ahead and tell her what you're seeing. You look amazing. I was trying to like stop staring and focusing on what you were saying. So I had to start off with that.
Oh,
So
I am so humble. Thank you. I'll
Adesoji
be
gave
72 on the 20th of this month.
Oh, well, we will be sure to remember that.
Okay.
72. Listen, if I can look that good at 72,
Sweetheart,
this is
oh
it.
my God.
This is it. This is the black don't
make a
crack.
sister
This
cry.
is it. And it's not just how youthful you look. It's just all your whole energy, the whole essence
the aura.
about you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just so beautiful. So a couple of things I want to say. First and foremost, I greatly appreciate this young man here who, by the way,
Yes.
for those of us in the United States, it might be 6 or 7 p.m. where you are, but it's past midnight?
Yeah, it's 9 minutes. It's 10 minutes past midnight now.
Okay, so when he does this week after week after week, he's really giving time that he should be sleeping and things like that. So I appreciate that. He gave a sanitized version. We just happened to be in conversation. I was doing some research. He's asking me what I'm working on. I'm telling him it's actually been a project that I've been working on for maybe some would say far too many years. And I put it on hold and started working on Your Self-Love Revolution. And then I kept it on hold and then worked on the Kwanzaa book and the Kwanzaa journal. But at any rate, I was talking about, I really need to get back to it. But in researching these women, sometimes I'm reading 2, 3, 4 books on just one woman. And so I'm not writing a book about one person. I wanted to write a book, and I probably still will, because if Karen Loudon is in here, she's going to get on me as well. These are people God has put in my life to keep me on the straight and narrow. But I wanted to write a book where it had, maybe I shouldn't tell the whole story because people are always stealing others' ideas, but I don't care. Anyway, so where I was going to identify 365 women of African descent. And I was going to research all of them. And I was going to condense information about each woman down to a page. But the information I chose about her life to include will tie into a particular issue or idea that I want women to think about. And then it will have a bibliography. So if you want to learn more about that woman, you can go and, access these other resources. But I found myself, like with Pauli Murray, I think it was 3 books that I read, and Ida B. Wells, oh my goodness. And so it was cumbersome. It wasn't something that was going to happen really quickly. So anyway, I'm having this conversation with Adesoji. And, and I was also at that moment kind of beating myself up because I was feeling like I wasn't moving fast enough. And he said, well, we should, do this on the channel and every week just present one woman. We can start with a woman that I'd already written about, because I'd already written I'd written on about 100 women.
Wow.
But I still had 200 and some women to write or to finish researching and writing on. And he was like, well, you can just start there. And I was like, no one was thinking about that. And no, I don't want to do it. And I don't have the time. My schedule is too full. I don't have the time. Well, Adesoji and our relationship has really grown since my younger brother made his transition and became an ancestor. And I'm convinced that my younger brother, they don't know each other. They've never met each other, but their mannerisms are so similar. And he just annoys me like my younger brother used to. But he also really holds me accountable like my younger brother used to as well. And so every time that it could be a chat, whatever, he's sharing something about some real, and somehow it'll be like, and it was like, oh my God, fine. Okay, we'll do it. But even when we said we'll do it, we didn't really think out. We didn't plan it out in full, did we, Adesoji? You jumped in at any time.
No.
It was just like, okay, we're going to do it in an hour. What day? And it's like, okay, I can do Wednesdays. Okay, fine. And I thought I was going to come and just
Talk about them. Just
talk about them. He's also doing some research, and he'll just ask questions and we'll just talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
And the very first person we did was Billie Holiday.
Billie Holiday.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I was driving. This is to address something that you said, Mama Peggy. So I'm driving, racing back, trying to get home from court because I needed to get home and make dinner before I get onto this so that when the kids get back, dinner's already made, all that stuff. So any of you who have to juggle multiple things. And as I'm driving, I literally feel like it's just me in the car. I hear this voice. So you're just going to go there and just talk about me? And it was Billie Holiday's voice.
See?
And I was like,
mm-hmm.
What you want me to do? I'm driving and I'm like, I know I'm talking to myself, but I said, what do you want me to do? It's like, you're not even going to wear a gardenia or something after what you know about me? And I was like, well, I'm trying to race home. Because Adesoji is always here in time and I'm always late. So if we start late, it's always me, 100%, always me.
It's okay.
And so I was like, where am I supposed to get a gardenia from? And this was winter. This was in February, right?
Yeah.
And so as I'm driving, I'm calling some florists. Nobody had gardenias. And I was like, okay, maybe I can stop at a craft store real quick on my way home because maybe they'll have a fake gardenia.
Gardenia, yeah.
So I stopped. They didn't. But they had white flowers. And I was like, okay, Billie, is this going to work? Literally, I'm like, is this going to work for you? She's like, yeah. Okay. So then I'm driving back home. And she's like, well, you're going to have to dress up. And I was like, I don't have time. And it was like, sparkly something, whatever. So I'm rushing, I'm cooking and I'm rushing in to go see what I can find for my wardrobe to pull this together. And if you notice the first few episodes, the first few people we did, I was still trying to keep with what I had in mind, which was just tell their story, talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was with Lorraine Hansberry, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was where the switch, yeah.
Where I felt her essence, her spirit just took over. Mm-hmm. So when you made the comment about me calling daughters and so on and so forth, there are literally times when I don't know what's coming out of my mouth.
Wonderful.
I've studied them, I've done my research, but their spirits take over. I don't know, which one did we do at Adesoji that as soon as he stopped the recording, the live button, I fell apart.
That was
was it Brayfu?
Yeah, that was Brayfu. No. It was Queen Nanny of the Maroons. Because of what she had.
No, I think it was. Well, maybe. No, actually, I've fallen apart more than once. Yeah, but the last one that I remember is Brayfu because Brayfu committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt all of the emotion of that moment in your life where you are making that decision. Not necessarily out of despair. People commit suicide out of despair, but at that point it was out of defiance. It was resistance. But you cannot have my life. You're not going. And I couldn't wait for him to
press,
for him to stop the live. And I didn't want to cry in front of him, but I just fell apart. So whatever you all have seen and whatever has resonated, I say that whole long story to say that almost 100% of the time, it's not me trying to act.
Right.
It's really these women come over. Now, there's some times that I try to suppress it. Like Celia Cruz kept wanting me to speak in Spanish. And I was like,
I don't know.
I'm not doing it. We're not. I'm not a Spanish speaker. I know a few words, but no. You're gonna have to work with the English. And then she wasn't. She was okay, but she wasn't too happy with me. But with Tony Cade Van Bear,
yeah, remember
5 minutes for us to hit play or whatever. She said no.
And it's the only one we didn't finish. It's the only one we didn't finish. You are listening to Women and Resistance with Aya Fubara Eneli Esquire and Adesoji Iginla, where we honor the voices of women who have shaped history through courage and defiance. If you're finding these stories inspiring, take a moment to subscribe, share, and support this platform. Together, we amplify the voices that deserve to be heard. Now, back to the conversation.
And she's the only one we didn't finish. Yes. I had to go pour libation, just like beg her, all of that. And and finally she was like, you didn't finish all my books. I was like, well, daggone it. You wrote so many. Like, I read the bio and I read this essay and I read 3 books and no, I didn't finish it. And I came in just feeling like at any moment she was just going to be like, and this heifer should not be speaking up.
That's when and I think that was when the lightning struck, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That was when the lightning struck
and we didn't finish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
So, I mean, Mama Peggy, you've seen, you watch it week in, week out. What immediately stood out to you in some of the episodes? I mean, just any one of them, and just give us your idea of what you saw on screen.
I saw sincerity, truth. I saw, as Aya said, she wasn't acting. She was allowing the ancestors to speak their truth. Not, a choreographed, sterile. As Aya said, I'm just going to talk about, the information. I'm just going to read from a book. No, they wanted to speak. The ancestors, and it's spiritual. And I think it just flows, and it flows naturally. And that's what I think we need to be more intentional in allowing the ancestors to speak. And I think I have a friend who's a griot, and she just allows that energy to come forth. She doesn't try it, she's not ashamed of it. And I think it's an important part of our heritage that has been somewhat suppressed because we've been taught that, the ancestors, that's voodoo, that's Santeria. That's, we have, because of religiosity, we've kind of suppressed that. But they don't want to be suppressed.
True.
If we truly believed that they're here, that they're present with us, that energy never dies, then we have to be open to that energy speaking through us and showing. Sometimes I can go in a room and you can see my mom and dad on the wall behind me. And I'll say, you know what I'm looking for? Where is it? And immediately.
Yes.
Immediately.
Yes.
Comes the response.
Yeah, you make
you
the connection.
You are absolutely right.
Yeah.
And, I'm not afraid of that. You're not afraid of that. Sweetheart.
No, Mama Peggy, sometimes I am.
Don't be.
No. Well, maybe fear is not the word. I'm aware of the responsibility and the fact that it can take over. Let me try to explain what I'm saying. The week we did Nina Simone, I could not sleep. I was in this quiet rage. And if I wasn't raging internally, I was so melancholy. But I felt, because with these women, I'm reading and rereading their work, right? Because some of them, like I said, I've already done research on. if there are videos of them, I
Talking.
actually go to bed listening to it. So I just have my headphones on and I'm listening to their voices for like the whole 7 days between, each character.
Right.
I'm immersing myself in them.
Right.
And I knew that what I was feeling weren't my feelings. Like I wasn't upset with any. I was like, what is this? Because I just couldn't get myself together. And I still have to work for a living. So, I got to get up and do the other stuff that life requires of me. And Nina almost had me act out a character in court. And I was like, ma'am, like, you got to calm down. Like, you can't cost me my job. This is my livelihood. But so there was a lot of just spending time, meditation, trying to talk through some of her pain. So I remember going back and watching the part where she was talking about the sexual abuse from her husband and the physical abuse from her husband.
Yes.
And on screen, I was trying to hold, because Nina didn't want to sit down. Nina wanted me to reset how we do it. She wanted me to stand. She wanted all the theatrics and all of that. And I was like, no, ma'am, we sit with this and we're not doing all of that. And she was like, you have to feel it in your body what he did to me. And so when we were actually live, like I was feeling, and I was like, okay, I don't want to emote too much. So I'm trying to, at the same time that she's coming through, I'm trying to negotiate with her. Like, just can we bring it down just a little bit? And so I'd say all of that to say it's not that I'm afraid of them necessarily, but also understanding that these women went through a lot. Yes. Some of them really happy, wonderful times, but also some really dark times. And you got to be careful how you are navigating all of that. So you don't go slap somebody that you love and it wasn't even you or them. It was something completely different. But I think I don't know if you're paying attention to the chat. Adesoji, there's some people asking questions in the chat.
Yeah, somebody, Miss Crit said, is it mentally, and I mean, you've spoken to a bit of it. You might want to elaborate a bit more ways.
Very much so. And some of them more than others. So like I said, with Tony Kate Bambera, right down to almost the minute we were supposed to go live, I didn't have her permission. And I was like, okay, ma'am, what do you want me to do? Should we just cancel today? And she was like, I don't care. And so it was a lot of cajoling her and all of that, and love her. I think she still feels, they would say, some type of way about me. So, I don't know. I got to figure out what I need to do with Mama Tony. But yes, for some, very it's just navigating the emotion. So yes, typically Wednesday night I'm drained. I'm absolutely drained, and I try not to, if I can, not to have a very early morning on Thursday, because I just never know how they'll show up. One of my most favorite characters, which kind of, I was not expecting this, and I shouldn't call them characters. They're not characters. Sorry about that.
Renditions.
No, you are not characters. Yeah, so one seems like you are a character now. No, you are not a character. I'm so sorry. But one of the ancestors that we covered, Florence Griffith Joyner.
Yep.
And initially for me, it was just like, when I first started researching her, and I fell in love with her just from the 1988 Olympics, and then just, Flo Jo and all her
color. The color.
Yes. And I happened to meet her. I met her when she came to speak in Columbus, Ohio. And I didn't get a picture with her then because she was so tired. I don't know if she was sick already. Yeah, the lightning was Tony Kate.
Yeah, that was Tony Kate.
But anyway, and I'm always very, when I meet, supposed, people who have celebrity, I try not to like be that person fawning over them, because I'm also like paying attention to their energy, and she just seemed tired, and everybody was just like crowding her and all of that. So I didn't get a picture with her that day, but something about her just stayed with me. And so when it was time to, you know, let her spirit, come through, what I really felt was this extreme softness.
Mm.
Like, of all the women that we have presented so far, if you will, she just came across as just the sweetest, softest
Oh, wow.
woman. And she was so hurt by the things that would be said about her. And she really just wanted a quiet life. Had
Mm.
she lived, she just wanted to be an artist
Mm.
and to give back in her community. She was just so soft. And I was taken aback by her softness, because you think, glamour and
Right.
this larger
Um,
than life character and all of that. And yeah, she was very, very quiet. And almost the same thing for Celia Cruz too, who
mhm.
has this larger than life personality, but in her private life, she just wanted peace and quiet. She didn't do a whole lot of entertaining. She didn't go out and get involved, look at me, this and that. When she was on stage, she did her thing. She gave her utmost. But once she was done, she had a very small circle, inner circle. Um, so just some of those kind of stories, just feeling their spirit. Yeah.
For me, the most abiding quality in all of them that I've seen is just sacrifice. I mean, there's one that stood out to me. I mean,
Mm.
obviously, all of them did sacrifice something. Mr. Mugo, she was dying of cancer, but and then she went to Kenya to bury her daughter, but still had the time to call up a student she was supervising to put corrections in
Mm.
that student's paper. I mean, that's again, when we talk about resilience in women, that is the kind of resilience that is often showcased, but people tend not to see. So, researching here, when we decide, okay, this is who we're talking about next, those things hit you. But then the question is, how do you bring them to the audience, knowing fully well, there are lots more, but I suppose the question to Aya would be, how do you decide what not to showcase about them?
Well, initially I had this idea of, hit the main dates, hit the main accomplishments. I kind of had a template. But there's some of them that I've realized I don't think I said what date they were born or what date they died, because truly when these women choose to take over, like, I'm just a vessel. And
Mm.
later I do have notes. And later I'm going back, oh, we didn't say this, I didn't say this. Well, that's not what they chose to emphasize. So
Mhm.
actually the easiest answer to that, and then the truest answer to that question, is I say whatever it is that they want me to say. Um and some of them, like Shirley Chisholm, she was very clear about, yes, I didn't have any children, and do not make that a big deal.
Mm.
And so even as I was trying to research, because I'm always trying to get the backstory,
Yeah.
you can also see that some of these women really worked hard to keep their privacy. So there's sometimes you can't find certain information, or you got to dig way deeper. Same thing with Ernesta Procope. Interesting that they're both of Caribbean origin as
Yeah.
well. But then also knowing a little bit about the Caribbean, I'm sure that they were raised in families where they were expected to have children, and their siblings had children.
Children. Yeah.
So it could be that that was just also such a sore spot. And it was like, hey, well, I'm just going to excel in all these other ways because I don't have any control over these things. And of
Mm.
course, it was a different time, because now when you talk to people like Michelle Obama and you find out that both her children were conceived through IVF,
Mm.
you just
Mm.
wonder, had she been born 20 years earlier, then perhaps she wouldn't have had any children, you know?
Right.
And yet clearly she wanted children, which is why she went through the IVF process, and I think may have even had a miscarriage or something as well. So, yeah,
So,
yeah.
Mama Peggy, obviously they're all important to you. If one was to ask you, uh, take a top 5 and give us your take on each
Top
one of them. What stood out for you? Yeah, your top 5.
Claudia Jones.
Oh, okay. Okay. Why
Claudia.
Claudia Jones?
I
Mm.
I love women who are part of the revolution.
Oh,
But
so you're a
Claudia was my
troublemaker.
top girl.
Okay. Okay.
Troublemaker. That's right. There's a video going around women that says, how can I show you my political affiliations? And then they pose and then the character shows
Yes,
up. I would
yes,
do the
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
seen
yeah.
that?
I've seen it. I've seen it.
I would do the Claudia Jones, okay?
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
because she was truly part of that revolutionary spirit.
Mm.
Nina Simone.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mississippi. Y'all know what I'm
Okay.
talking about,
Okay.
okay?
Okay. Okay.
Born in the same month. I think we were almost born on the same day. I mean, her
Whoa.
command and she she got the spirit of that. I mean,
Okay.
100% because Nina was somebody in her music, in her
Mm.
presentation, how she commanded people to notice her. And the lady, and I hope I can pronounce her name correctly. Ama Ata
Ado.
Adi.
Amata,
Yeah.
I
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
say it
Yeah.
again for me.
Ama
Say it
ata
again.
aido.
Ama.
Ama ata aido.
Yes. Yes. The first time I saw her, I saw a video of her in which
I
she was
know.
Yes,
being interviewed by this,
yes.
and she said, "You people, since you have been here, and I'm paraphrasing, we've given you everything, and
Mm.
you are still taking." Oh,
Thinking. Yeah. Yeah.
I love her. Yes. Osceola.
Yes.
Yes.
Osceola.
Yes.
As a
McAfee.
Southern woman, I was born, in the South, Atlanta,
Mm.
Georgia.
Mm.
She was the one who was a midwife, right? Wasn't she the
No,
midwife?
No, she
Osceola
was
is the washerwoman
the
who
The
gave
washerwoman.
all that
washerwoman.
money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
The washerwoman. My grandmother, to earn extra money, she was a washerwoman, but she was also a midwife. Which one was the midwife?
Biddy Mason.
B.D. Mason.
Biddy Mason. Yes. Is that 5? Let's see. Osceola, Biddy, Claudia, Nina,
Nina. Yeah. And Ama
and
Aitaido.
Billy.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
yeah.
Billie Holiday.
Mm.
Brafa. Am I pronouncing her name correctly?
Yeah. Brefu.
And
Brefu.
Brefu.
Brafu. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
5. But I mean, just it's not one that I did not absolutely enjoy and learn. One of the things that
Mm.
when I come into the space, I
Mm.
listen and I learn.
Mm.
And when Aya said, to come in and help celebrate this wonderful occasion, I didn't feel like I had anything to add because everything is being said so beautifully. But those are some of the ones. I mean, it's not one that I did not leave the table with feeling like, I, I would have missed something had I not been there.
Well, one that I really, really enjoyed, I shouldn't say, you know what? They are like in my head. One, really? No, I love all of y'all. You guys are going to see me start doing this because they're slapping me. But, Abby Lincoln.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's so interesting, their personalities, because Nina Simone. So, okay. Once we are like, okay, we do it like in 12 weeks. We know, okay, these are the people we're going to cover for this 12-week period. And so I start pulling some images that we have of them. And I want to know, okay, how do you want me to represent you? If I can, because I'm not an actress. I'm not going to break the bank. We're not doing prosthetics and all of that. So within reason, how do you want me to represent you? And when it came to Nina, there were so many different outfits, of course, right? And things that I already had in my closet that I could play with. Nina was like, no, I want you to wear the white fishnet. I was like, I'm like, I'm not an entertainer. I still, I'm a lawyer for a living. And while most folk don't know what I do here, but eventually, like,
we're going to find out.
I have to stay chaste somewhat, whatever. And she was like, fishnet or not, and with an attitude. And so I did order this. I ordered 2 fishnet things. And one was covered a little bit more. And she was like, no, did you see me in my heyday? That is not what you're wearing. I was like, okay. So she's really funny. She was really funny. And then, of course, Abby Lincoln was like, you need a hat.
You need a hat.
Have to wear a hat. That's the look I want, because I want the hat. And so it's been interesting, even that aspect of how to show up physically for them.
Speaking of the showing up bit, I suppose for me that's the insider aspect. Every time she comes on screen, I'm always busting into laughter. Like, what is she going to do? Because I think it was the Lauren Hansberry with the cigarette,
with the fake cigarette.
I was like, okay, here we go. And so again, doing the show, sometimes I prepare notes, but then the moment the spirits take over, those notes just become irrelevant. And so it's when I see that it's she is lagging a bit, that's sometimes when I do comment, like, okay, pose a question just to re-energize the conversation, as it were. But it's not really a conversation, it's them actually speaking. So going back to what you were saying earlier about being aware of the spirits, we're a very spiritual people. But for some reason, once we've come into the Western space, we sort of just left behind everything that is us and taking on the embodiment of something else. But from time to time, the yearning is what is exemplified on this particular podcast, where Aya goes into, I won't even say go into character. I think that does the entire thing injustice. It's an embodiment of them using her as a vessel to say their piece. Because sometimes people do exit the world and they've not had their final say. So that is their way of saying, well, I've done this and it's over to you. For me, watching all of them, the ones I've sort of gravitated towards.
Yeah, I was going to ask, which ones did you gravitate to? Which ones made you laugh? Which ones were, tell us about your reactions. Because I don't know if you guys catch it, but a lot of times I can't even look at the screen. I'm always looking up or kind of down because you have these crazy expressions and I'm like, you're going to get me, like, throw me off, whatever. So, yeah, tell us from your side what
okay,
this
so
been like.
Okay, so obviously we're celebrating women.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see how each of these women turn up. Wangari Maathai, by the very nature that she's one with nature, the story alone, the way you recounted the story, you will get a sense that this is someone who grew up in the village. And there was nothing city about that conversation. If you go listen to it again, there was nothing city about it. It was a village person. I mean, that's not derogative. It was basically someone rooted expressing a loss about the environment. And you get a sense that this person is owning their story. But I would say majority of the ones that have sort of resonated with me because of my outlook with regards to liberation have been the warriors. I'm talking, what's her name? Brefu, the lady from Haiti. Her name escapes me.
Lamentier?
Lamentier. Yeah, Lamentier. Queen Nanny of the Maroons. Andre Blouin.
Andre Blouin was amazing. Yes.
You know, so
yeah.
If you look at all of those women, it was essentially saying, well, we have to do this. There is no other option. And they did. You know, where sometimes we have this kind of debilitating act of saying, oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow. These are women who just said, you know what, we have to defend, like Lamentier. They were surrounded, but yet they decided, you know what, if we're going to go out, we'll go out on our feet.
Yeah.
Creating the impression that they were more than, you know, that counts. So it's the sense of agency. All of those women exuded the agency, and they, in the case of Brefu, it was like, even to the point of passing, I am not going to cede my agency to you. But the most special one for me, and even up till today, and I was still telling Sister Aya a couple of days ago, was Asata.
Yeah.
The fact that she escaped,
Asata,
she lived free, and she is forever free. Basically, she is not buried anywhere. She's scattered into the wind. I mean, that is the best form of freedom ever. So for me, that's my takeaway from some of these great women. So you were question was to Mama Peggy now. When we say good night, which is oftentimes not, what is your take about what you've just heard? I mean, just go with anyone.
Well, you mean like how she feels after
how do you feel after you watch, you know, okay, so you watch one previously and then you watch another one. Yeah. So we've said good night at the end of one episode. Now we've told you who is coming up next. What's your abiding thought of the previous one or the one before that?
She ready to go to sleep. I don't know.
No, I'm not. I said, you know, some of these I watch more than once. So I am impressed. Because again, it's personal. I feel as if I've actually sat and listened to these people speak. So I ponder what they've said. And then I look forward to the next session.
Okay.
But I have a question. If I'm permitted to ask a question.
Oh, no, please. Go on. That's
what is the method for choosing the people that you
Oh.
speak of, that speak through you, because I look at it as the ancestors speaks. Okay. And has Fannie Lou Hamer ever raised her
Oh.
hand to speak?
So
I'll be
yes,
telling.
there are so many who have raised their hands, and some who are advocating through Adesoji. One in particular, Angela Davis. He wants me to do Angela Davis so bad. I got to hear Angela Davis. Calling her name like we're peers. Professor Angela Davis, when I was at
Yeah.
Ohio State University. And there's just this one little thing she did that kind of rubbed me wrong a little bit. So I need to get my mind right so that I can
Okay.
connect with her. And let me say this. It is more difficult for me to do living people than those who are ancestors.
Yeah, because they're still very much around.
Yes. So when we did Sylvia Winters, I really was trying to figure out if there was a way to get her to come tell her story. But she's not at a place right now where she could do that. But I really had to sit with that one, and even though she is still living, like try to access her spirit and say, do you want me to, and how do I present you? So hers was a lot more academic than spiritual. I'm trying to remember, there was one that you were asking me questions and it was totally just them completely. And I had to go back and watch to hear what they had said. I'm trying to remember who it was. But okay, back to your question though. How do we choose? So Billy was just automatic. Billy was like,
The beginning.
I'm going first.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
there's no question
Okay.
about it. And then we also, as we discussed it, we felt that there was so much depth and breadth to her life and her story. And that although she is a common name, a lot of people have heard Billie Holiday, that she is the kind of person who people don't really know her
No,
backstory.
but they do.
Like
They think
people,
they do.
they think
Yeah.
they know her, but they don't
Mhm.
really know her. Don't know she had a
Exactly.
different name. Don't know what she came through. A lot of people didn't even know exactly how she died, even though there've been documentaries and so on and so forth on her. With Diana Ross and all of that. And so we felt like her story would be one that people like, oh, Billie Holiday, okay, we know that, but let's see what else. And then the other thing we look at is geography. So we don't want to cover 5 women from the United States in a row.
Right. Okay.
We want to try and get from different areas. And
Yeah.
I am working really hard to get more information on. There are a couple of women I'm looking at who are in Asia, because there's a Black presence in Asia. Our stories are just not told.
Old. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
buried. So we look at geography. And then we also try to look at mixing more contemporary with more ancient stories. So being able to tell the story of like Nanny of the Maroons, but at the same time, telling a story of
Queen
Septimer Clark,
Clark.
who
Yeah.
is the civil rights movement that is, closer to us, if you will. But you can still see some parallels between these warrior women who fought in different ways. Also looking at occupation, like, okay, we didn't just do 3 writers in a row. So do they have different career paths or different things, different ways that they came about their form of resistance, so that there's some variety. So those are some of the things that we've taken into consideration. So typically I'll go through the list of women I've already researched, and I'll try to play around with that. And then I'll give a list to Adesoji, and then he'll give feedback, and we might play around with some dates. And sometimes in terms of the actual dates, we would try to line them up closer to maybe
The month of birth.
their month of birth or something significant that happened in their
About them.
lives
Yeah.
and all of that. So there are a lot of different things that we try to take into consideration. Someone says, what about Elaine Brown? Oh, let me tell you, some of those women, they're spicy now. This is the other thing. My ancestors, our ancestors, we are spicy, so this whole idea of, well, then I'll tell you what I mean by spicy, by, women being demure. They were definitely demure outwardly, some of them, not Nina. But many of them, well, no, let me temper this, because most of them were very much aware of themselves as sexual beings as well. Some of them had very complicated relationships with themselves regarding that because of the abuse that they experienced. I'm thinking people like Bessie Head.
Yeah.
When we were doing Witty Mandela, there were things that were coming forth in the spirit that are not in her book or in her books. But I didn't say them because, one, I can't verify it. And if I just say, oh, her spirit told me, but she also hadn't given me permission to say them, although I could feel them in my body as I talked about certain aspects of her life. But a lot of these women really wanted to live really whole lives and sometimes weren't able to. Septima Clark comes to mind. She was very much hurt by her husband. And after that, at least from what she was sharing on a spiritual level, she just kind of shut down that aspect of herself and just threw herself into service and her work for us. But she also had a real issue with Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture.
Yeah.
Because he was but I didn't go into that, but she was like that little peep squeak, and he was so misogynistic, and he thought the only role a woman should play, and I could have just boxed that little boy's ears and all of that. Yeah. She and in her autobiography, she hints at it a little bit, but in spirit, she was just like, I know y'all think he's so cute and this and that. And she says, and I'm not saying he didn't eventually mature, but I could have just boxed. She said, boxed his ears is what she wanted to do to Kwame Ture. So, because of the comments that he would make and how he viewed women during the civil rights movement. And of course, she was a more mature woman at the time, and he was much older, much younger. But yeah, those are some of the things we take into consideration is trying to provide some diversity and variety, even as we share these stories. So really ancient, more contemporary women from different backgrounds, trying to showcase the Caribbean and, the US and Africa, and yes, all of that. Yes. But yes, a lot of them really did embrace their femininity for sure. Yes. Because Kambasa, who is my ancestor, she wanted me to come on screen bare-chested. I was like, ma'am, that's what we're not doing. That's what it's not that kind of show. But so if you go back and watch that one, you see that I went into some detail about, because she and I had this long conversation over days about what she wanted me, how she wanted me to present myself. And I'm like, I can't do that. And she was like, well, back then, men can go bare-chested, women can go bare-chested. I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. But that's not the look I'm going to do. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And so finally she was like, okay, well, we're not doing anything fancy or whatever, because there are other pictures of her with like a hat and more like European clothes on. There's one picture of her like that. And she's like, I'm not doing that. You just tie this. And I was like, okay. So that one, you can see I was really basic, like no, nothing on my face, whatever, because she was like, because what she wanted was for me to be
Presence.
bare-chested. We're
Yeah,
not doing
presence.
that. Now, you probably would have hit 20,000 subscribers or whatever.
Probably.
I don't know if YouTube allows that kind of thing, but no, we weren't gonna do that. Lorna, don't be funny. She said, I would have loved to see Adesoji when you came on. No, I was not. No, wait a second. And then my husband is going to be like, have you lost your living mind? No.
I know.
Not to mention my mother would come and snatch me up.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Let's see. Janae said that makes sense. You had some roles that you stood out more than others. Okay. Yeah.
There is okay. So speaking of the roles, I mean, someone wants us to showcase Etha Keith, Marcus Darling.
Who?
Um,
Eartha Kitt. What
Eartha
did
Kitt.
I just talk to about Eartha
wow.
Kitt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Janae, didn't we talk about Eartha Kitt today? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. That would be good.
Well,
So-
I will say this. I've researched Eartha, but she is not on the list of 365 women. However, I think the reason I did not put her on the list was even in researching Eartha, I was feeling so much of
resistance.
the internal turmoil that she experienced. But I will take a closer look, and we'll see.
Yeah,
Because she definitely did speak up, and she resisted in her own way, and just in terms of fighting for our liberation too. But she went through quite a bit.
And finally, Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yes, Fannie Lou Hamer is on the list.
She's on the list.
Thank you.
She's on the
On
list.
the list.
Thank
She's on the
you.
list.
She's on
Yeah.
the list.
So I'm minded. We'll keep it under an hour. One final question to both of you.
Oh, and then I have something that I do want to say, but go ahead with your question.
Okay. What do you envisage this becoming? Yeah, I mean, you've seen 1 year of it. So what do you envisage it becoming? Mama Peggy first.
Okay, I didn't understand the question.
Okay,
Would you
what
repeat it?
do you think this podcast should become in the years to come?
More shares and likes. I want to see it grow. Because what you're doing, both of you complement each other. When I remember it was one of the characters, and I can't remember specifically which one it was. And you started the show, Adesoji, and she was not ready. She was still preparing to speak. And you didn't interrupt that. So it's like you're connected. So that translates, I think, to the people. So I think by emphasizing these women, because Black women have just not been given the space, I feel, that they deserve. The attention. Men have always, been front and center. When you look at Martin Luther King, I grew up, about 3 miles from where he lived. And it was always about him. But, nobody really talked about, and I remember that because I was born under Jim Crow. Nobody really talked about Coretta. Nobody really talked about his sister.
And Coretta gave up a whole amazing singing career to
Thank you. Thank
those
you.
kids. Yeah.
Thank you. So these women have not been given the recognition that they should. So I'm hoping to see that what you're doing, you continue and it will grow. The whole reason I started supporting the program was because I wanted to see women. I have 3 daughters, And the women in our family were phenomenal. Okay, that's all I can say. I'm very proud of the women in my family. So they had strong women to emulate. So I want to see my granddaughters have that same opportunity, not only in my family, but what you're doing. And I love that you're showing us, the different areas, like you said, the Caribbean, Africa, because geopolitically, I was not as in tune as I should have been to the different women and people, period. So listening at Women in Resistance and the Sunday show, I'm learning so much. So just keep on doing what you're doing. I mean, and just, it's great. It's gonna grow because I'm constantly going back looking how many views did this one get. That
Yeah. I see you.
so
I
I
see you
can
there.
pass it
I see
along.
you there.
I won't.
I see you there.
You see me?
I see. I see you with the likes and the
I want
shares.
it
I'm
to
like,
grow.
okay, somebody, somebody's putting in the work,
A
and
short
exactly
pop
that's
up. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna share it, and I'm gonna put a comment in so it'll help the algorithm. So I'm gonna do my part.
Yeah. Thank you, and we continue to thank you. And yes, we will at some point we will do Elia Baker, but
Yeah, Ella Baker is definitely on the list.
Yeah.
Oh, so what do you see this? Where do you see this going, Adesoji, since you started this in the first place?
Yes.
Because
okay.
I was
So
just trying to mind my business and write my book.
So
So where do you see this going?
so at some point, obviously, with when things quieten down a bit on the United States side of it, I envisage a celebration of women. When you come in live, actually, and see to talk about all these women. It could be a 3-day event. I mean, I'm saying where you have a public meet where you talk about these women, what you've
you and Lorna are getting together because Lorna just said, I think you all need to take this show on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. You know what I mean? It could be a yearly thing. It could be a yearly thing so that you have a backlog of a catalog of women that you've spoken to about the year. Obviously, you can bring in others you've spoken about, but then it would be like, okay, instead of just on the screen for the yearly acknowledgement, you do that on the road, and that way, women, girls, women, grand ladies can come in, sit, and again, the man would take the back seat, as we should, and allow women to talk about things that are pertinent to them. Because all these women embody qualities that women do have, but for some reason, it's often suppressed. So it's an idea. That's what I think should happen. I'm just thinking about other things. So sorry.
Well, I don't know about any of that. At all. But I will say this. This show has been this podcast, whatever we call it, has been very organic. It wasn't anything planned out, contrived. I had one idea in turn. We could see your fishnets. You ain't gonna see bare chested, I'll tell you that much, but you can see fishnet. But like I said, starting with just, we're just going to tell their story, to, okay, put a gardenia in your hair, and just the way it's evolving. I don't know where it's going to go. I really don't, but I am open. I need to be very careful what I say, because they really do hold me accountable. I'm open to being a vessel, to tell their stories. What I feel is just like an overwhelming responsibility when we talk about the violence of forgetting.
Erasure.
Many of these women feel forgotten, feel like for all their sacrifices, and there were a lot, that we haven't quite picked up the mantle. Some, not all of them feel that way, but some feel like we haven't quite picked up the mantle in the way that we should. And so as I was thinking about today, some of the things that came to mind, and I know we're over time, but if you'll just indulge me,
No, go on.
that resistance, first of all, takes many forms, and all of those forms are legitimate. So if you look at Mary Jean Lamantier, she used some of her feminine wiles at certain points to be able to infiltrate and get information and all that. If we ever do Josephine Baker, she definitely would fit into that as well. And there could be some who are
Blue
like,
Win,
well, that's not
Blue Win also,
yep, Andre Bluin. But understanding that we are all going to resist, or we have the ability to resist or fight back with a variety of weapons. And it's not about judging what weapon is used. So some obviously we can see with words, some with music, some medicine, some organizing, some teaching, some with their money, some with law, so we need to be less judgmental about each other and how people go about us trying to get to that freedom, and focus on the larger picture, because your tool might be different from mine. So do not narrow the definition of struggle and what it has to look like to be legitimate. Also this sense of culture being a battlefield. And so even as we look at the music today, understanding that that is a battlefield, and when we acquiesce, and I mean, all of the musicians that we've done, we're all sultry and sexy. Miriam Makeba, I mean, everybody wanted her. Of course, Nina, Abby Lincoln, who else? Who's another? Billie Holiday. All of these women
Celia
had great
Cruz.
sex appeal, all of that. But not just only leading with that or using that for something beyond that. So, no judgment against anyone, but understanding that our music, our storytelling, our fashion, our language, everything, our whole culture is a battlefield. And these women used art not just as decoration, but as strategy. And so if you're one of these women who sometimes people around you say, oh, you're doing too much, that's their issue. Come as whatever it is God is pulling out of you, is calling up in you. And if that means that, like when I did the blonde hair for Celia, we went back and forth. She wanted me to do blue hair. And I was like, I'm not doing blue hair, Celia, but I'm looking at your other, it was blue, orange, or blonde. And I was like, we can do the blonde, if that's okay, Miss Celia. And she finally agreed to that. But all of that, understanding that everything we do, how we show up, if you go back and you read Beatrice Nascimento's book, I mean, some of her pictures, I mean, this woman had some serious, she was gorgeous and she was an intellectual, so to speak. Of course, she was the one who got murdered while she was trying to save a friend.
Yeah.
Understanding that education is a weapon and it's a shield. So teaching literacy, political consciousness, history, all the stuff that we're doing, self-worth is revolutionary. And we should never stop doing that. As much as the world would try to erase us, what I kept hearing from these women, from these ancestors, and not all the people we did our ancestors, there are a few there who are living, was we are we are our own architects. Like we are taking charge and designing our lives. We are taking charge of what we want the future to look like. And we're not these things to be tossed aside. We're not just accessories to men. We are active participants in our own liberation. But then also them just emphasizing that they understand why many of us are hesitant to speak up, why many of us go along to get along, because they each paid dearly. There is not one of them, when we now, extol them as women of resistance and so on, there's not one of them who did not pay dearly at some point for taking a stand. They could have been richer, they could have lived more comfortably, or not in the case of the enslaved ones, but they chose the tougher path, if you will, where there was so much uncertainty of how it would end, except that they knew that there were going to be sacrifices on that path. And so while they understand why many of us don't speak up today because we're afraid of the sacrifices, it's also, there is no victory without sacrifice. And so really just asking us again to take up this mantle in whatever way it looks like for us. So like with Flojo, it was on the track. And then she used that notoriety to segue into, or to attempt to start to segue into some other things, but unfortunately died much too early. And many of these women died early, right?
Yeah. Some of them
deportation is not a thing. Speaking truth has a cost, but silence has a heavier cost.
Yeah.
And so for those of us who are, again, being silent, there's a cost for that as well. So I'll stop there. Yeah.
Yes. Again.
Oh, wait a second. Laura says, speaking of Beatrice Nascimento, the Healing Spot in Nubia is going to host a screening of the film Ori. Great.
Okay.
Awesome, because that film was really hard to get a hold of, especially in English version. Gloria says, Aya, once you finish with the presentation, do you have further contact with those ancestors? Yes. I feel like they live with me. And it's been a good thing, in the sense that, like, I can almost call upon them as a council of elders and be like, hey, can you help me with this? I need your comment here, I need your advice here. But then there are also times when I'm just feeling like emotionally just out of sync. It's like a lot of stuff going on, and I have to get quiet to figure out who is doing what in the background. It feels like I've invited a lot of people into my home. And sometimes we're having a good time, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to sleep. Can you guys go to the visitors room and be quiet? Can you make your own food? Because I don't want to be bothered. Some of them don't really too much. Like Tony K. Bambara does not too much bother with me at all. I have her books right here in my eyesight, and every once in a while, and I look up, I'm working, and she's like, yeah, you still haven't read this one. I'm like, okay, I will. She was a woman of excellence.
Yeah.
And what I hear her saying right now is she doesn't think I put in a sufficient work to truly understand.
And she was one that really went into solitude when she's working.
Yes, she did. So I gotta do right by Mama Tony. Who stays with me the most? I'm very close to Kambasa, obviously, being a direct ancestor. I don't know. I really love Abby Lincoln. There's just in her song, Throw It Away soothes me. Anytime someone has hurt my feelings, I just listen to her words and she calms me down. But the person who probably is with me the most, because she's just that kind of human being, is Nina.
That's what I
What's
thought.
the
Nina
name?
just, yeah, Nina just, yeah. Of all of them, what she presents most to me is unfinished business. Like she just feels like even more so than like Lauren Hansberry, who died really young. She just really presents like she was very hurt by. Nina was very hurt. She was very hurt by how people that she thought would be supportive of the civil rights movement and she was very hurt that so many of her dear friends were killed. And she's still grieving, even though she's on the other side with them. She's, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
It's been 1 year. I mean,
Thanks to you, Adesoji, little pesky.
So it's been 1 year. So we're talking, I mean, just from Billie Holiday to the last, for this time, Anna Julia Cooper, another excellent woman. What else can one say? So the story continues next week. And next week is going to be my kind of woman again. On the revolutionary path, it's going to be Ya Asetewa. So who she is, what she's about, and next week we shall find out. So I like my warrior queens, so I'm sure to.
No, his favorite. Tell them who your favorite is. He has a crush on her.
That would be Beatriz Nascimentos. That's no. So there's no other one there. So yeah, that said, thank you.
Yes, little brother Adesoji. Actually, I used to get I don't know who it is that we were doing. And she kept saying, my son, and I would hear the words come out and I would like stifle a laughter because I'm like, yeah, little boy, my son. I don't remember who. It's probably one of the African mothers because they're like, yeah.
I think it was Wangari Maathai. Yeah, I think it was Wangari Maathai. Yeah, I think it was.
Anyway.
So yes, next week it will be the turn of Ya Asetewa. So, Mama Peggy, any final thoughts?
Thank you for this opportunity, boy. I have really enjoyed it. I was scared to death. I mean, seriously, I don't drink, but I thought maybe I need to take a drink so I can calm down. I was shaking in my boots.
And I was thinking we might be when we're talking about what happens the next year, maybe Mama Peggy becomes part of this.
Exactly, because
I was too nervous. So I want to say thank you for this opportunity. And thank you both. Just keep on being the sweethearts that you are.
Thank you. Sister Aya, your final thoughts?
Just humbled and grateful. And I would just say to all of us, it doesn't have to be like all planned out. This wasn't even for likes, although we definitely want to get these women's stories out to more people.
Yeah.
It was truly just obeying spirit,
Mm.
nudged through Adesoji. But so whatever, and I think that's what these women did. Whatever you can do
Yes.
where you are with whatever little you have at your disposal. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need a grand plan. We didn't have a grand plan of any sort. Just get started and just see what happens. So when Adesoji was like, it's been a year, I was like, what? It's been, I wasn't even tracking it. I couldn't believe it. So for all of us, just whatever it is you can do, it might be just that one kid around the corner that you mentor. I don't know. Whatever it is that we've all been given gifts. We all have something. And that's what these women did. They used whatever they had. So just do whatever you can, because God knows we need liberation real bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But Adesoji, keep being you. Thank you for your discipline. Thank you for your patience with me. I'm seriously, y'all, I'm always logging in late. I always can't find the link that he sent. He always has to send it again. And this man has never once been like, can you get your act together? Now he may have cussed without me hearing, but he's been very, very patient with me, and I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so very much.
Likewise,
Positive influence in my life.
like I was saying the other day, it takes a certain degree of consistency to do this. The discipline required, the studiousness, you've brought all of that. So without that, this would be a no-show, as they would say. So
in my defense, sometimes I'm struggling to get my hair under the wig at the last minute. It's like, I gotta go, and it comes out, it pops out again.
No. I mean, it goes without saying that. I mean, the audience have been saying it. It's important to understand that most of these women would, if they were alive, they would appreciate the work you're doing. So
Thank you.
while this is giving voice to women, my idea would be, and I'm just a man in the room, and it's a suggestion, will be tied me to tell women what to do. It would be share these things among women, these conversations. The more women get it, this is their story. It's not mine, it's theirs. Get them to own their stories. And like Sister Aya was saying, one of the stories might just resonate with you, and that might just be your own Kindle, and you just take it forward. And that's it. So let's go back to get off the soapbox. Yes. So next week it's Asetewa. And as you've heard from the two ladies, it's been a pleasure. It's what can I say? Thank you all for coming through. Until next week, it's good night and God bless.
Thank you, Mama Peggy. Thanks, Adesoji. Thank you, everyone, for watching and sharing it.
That is it for this episode of Women and Resistance. Thank you for joining us in amplifying the voices of women who challenged injustice and changed the course of history. Be sure to subscribe, share, and continue the conversation. Together, remember, we honor the past, act in the present, and shape the future. Until next time, stay inspired and stay in resistance.